Thanks, Justin, very much. Nice to be with you this evening, and I bring greetings on behalf of our president, Dave McNally, who, like President Hamen, is completing his second year at Coe. And tonight, as we're here, he is with some of our first-year students in the boundary waters of northern Minnesota on a canoe trip. We actually have a Coe Wilderness Field Station on extreme northern Minnesota near Ely, Minnesota, and that's always a great place for summer programs as well as programs for some first-year students. So Dave is there tonight. Hopefully he can join you some other time. But we'll give you some updates about what's going on at Coe, and then talk a little bit about how we interact with the neighborhood. One of the things I would say is when President McNally came to Coe a couple of years ago, one of his objectives for us was to stabilize and grow enrollments. And that's one thing that's happened at Coe over the last couple of years. We have had record first-year classes and also record enrollment at the college. We have about 1,440 full-time students now, about 100 part-time students, so you can do the math on that. But Coe has actually grown about 25% over the last decade to 12 years. And so that growth has been pretty steady at Coe. And because of that growth, Coe has a residential requirement, an undergraduate institution, a residential requirement. And so we needed a space for our students. Our students have really liked to live on campus all 4 years. Also want to acknowledge my summer student intern, Addie Shaw, who will be a senior with us tonight. So I wanted to acknowledge Addie. She's been a great asset to our office this summer and throughout the year actually as well. And so to help accommodate the student population, we did something that actually had a pretty residual effect for the neighborhood, and that is that Coe purchased the Hampton Court Apartments on First Avenue by Rude Awakenings. And Lieutenant Darby and Chief German can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was one of the top police call locations in the city, and hopefully those calls for service have gone down at least a little bit since we have Coe papers, right? Just a little bit.
How long has it been there now?
I think 3 years. I think we're just completing 3 years now. So
it was rough before Coe took it over.
And one of the reasons I added that to my list is because I was at a noon meeting today, and somebody brought that to my attention who I hadn't seen for a while. They said that was really a good thing for Coe to do, to buy that. We created 80 beds for our students and remodeled those facilities. So that really makes for a nice frontage on First Avenue. The other thing we did, which you may be familiar with, was because of the flood and the changes in the fire station, we were able to obtain the old B Avenue fire station, the 1400 block of B Avenue, and did a complete renovation there and even expanded a little bit last summer. And we have about 35 students in that facility. Now that is set aside for what we call Coe's first living and learning community. It's for honor students. Now personally, I know Corey probably would have been there when he was a college student. I would not have called it, okay? But it's a great place to create that academic environment for really serious students at Coe. One of the things I would say in regard to the neighborhood is that about 3 or 4 years ago, we really looked at what our students were doing in terms of their volunteerism and their service learning, which is really an integral part of a liberal arts education. And one of the things we found was that they were doing good work, but they were doing that work all over town, which is great, except it really wasn't helping our poor areas of the neighborhood as much as we hoped that it would. So we've really had a focus since then of keeping our students closer to Coe College in the Mountain View neighborhood, in the Uptown District, which, as Corey mentioned, I was very privileged to be one of the founding board members, and I served as secretary for the Uptown District. We appreciate Justin's coming to those meetings. I know some of the rest of you do as well. You're welcome at any time as we try to do what we can do to continue to foster development kind of in that First Avenue area of the city. And so among the things that we do in this neighborhood, we made a commitment this past year to have Coe students spend 100 nights a year overnight at the Willis Navy Shelter. And that's been a really good experience for our students, and faculty and staff have participated as well. And we keep it staffed overnight. I think it's every Monday and Tuesday all year round. So that has been a really good relationship for us. I know we have students who volunteer at the Johnson School for the Arts, and we have other activities here in the Wellington Heights area. So if you have any ideas about where students can plug in terms of their volunteerism, get a hold of Justin, get a hold of me, and we can see if we can't get some students plugged into the Wellington Heights area even more than they currently are. As far as the future goes, I've just mentioned that Coe is about ready to embark on the largest capital campaign in college history. We anticipate it's going to be about a $25 million project. There's a couple of components to it. But as it relates to the neighborhood, the part that we're excited about is that it will include an expansion of our athletic facilities, mostly indoor facilities, but outdoor facilities as well. And to be candid about it, we've not been able to offer as many opportunities for the neighborhood, whether it be for you as adults or especially for youth in the community, because our facilities are so tight with the needs of our own students. And so we really anticipate and we commit that when these facilities are completed, about 2 years from now in the summer of 2017, that we plan to create more youth programming and open up our facilities more to the community. And so we really look forward to that with great anticipation. Meantime, though, we want you to know that you're welcome on the Coe campus at any time. I know we have a lot of people from Wellington, Mountain View, and the entire city that use our library, for example. We have many cultural activities, concerts, those kinds of things, nearly every night during the school year, because it's one of our responsibilities in my office to publicize those things, and so there's really a lot going on. And most of those events are free to the public. I know that we have people from the neighborhood there. You're always welcome to go to those, and we would certainly invite you to do that. And go to Coe.edu. You can see every day. We have a rotating calendar. You can see what's going on that day or that night at Coe, and we would certainly invite you to participate. So I think President Hamen is going to join us next, and then we'll take your questions afterwards. So thanks for having me.
I want to show you a map of an outdoor athletic facility that I think might be beneficial for folks who live in Wellington Heights and just want you to see it, so I'm going to just pass them on. If you are interested, please take one of these maps and follow along. We are right in the middle of a capital project and building project down on the corner of 17th and I Street near the TikTok is what our students always say, not that we've ever been there, but that's where it is. We have torn down all the abandoned buildings there and abated the hazardous waste site. We're monitoring that groundwater at this point in time. We've raised about $11.5 million and we have about $10 million left to raise. And at that point, we will build what you see on that map in front of you. Baseball field, the softball field, the large stadium, the artificial turf, and an intramural facility. We have visited about 30 different community service agencies and social service agencies and neighborhood groups like this and asked them, what could we do for you? The Sisters of Mercy obviously built Mount Mercy, and compassion is a part of our terrorism, and we'd like to be able to use that facility in the best way possible. So we decided to do a program that we call Jumpstart, and I apologize that I only have 3 of these, but not even our partners have seen them yet. So I'm going to ask you to pass them around. What Jumpstart is all about is the 3 things that all of our partners have told us that they would be interested in. The first would be that social service agencies and neighborhood groups would be able to use that facility for free. The second, as it was scheduled. We are not going to leave it open all the time, but if you would like to use it, your neighborhood organization or a social service agency can call us and use it for free. The second thing that our neighbors have asked us to do is when we do summer camps, if they would allow us to occasionally offer a student who might not be able to afford it the ability to go to that camp. So we have a baseball camp, we have a soccer camp, we have things, and if we have 25 students or 35 students, it doesn't make that much difference. And would we allow some of our agencies and partner groups to allow those kids to go to camp? If you said yes, that would be a great idea. And the last thing that those social service agencies have said is there a way for you to offer this facility with your students doing the main bulk of the work in athletic-related activities from 5 to 9 on summer evenings? That really is a time for positive activities for kids in the neighborhood, and we've agreed to do that once the facility is So I just want you to know that that's our plan. You can see the brochure as it goes get on their bike or walk to and have some really positive. We know that athletic facilities bring different kids and maybe go to other kinds of facilities. And we think that using that as a lever to teach leadership and academic skills is our mission at this point. So I wanted to tell you that. The second thing that I wanted to tell you, and I'm going to leave some magazines up here, so if you have interest in Mount Mercy and you want to take a magazine, you're more than welcome. I also have fact sheets, so if you want to know, we have about 1,800 students, just a little under that right now. We'll probably have a little bit over that next year. We are offering to the community about a 10-week series on Vietnam that you are more than welcome to in the same way that Coe does it. We have a series. We also are going to bring the Vietnam Wall, a replica of the wall, to Mount Mercy on the 17th of September to the 21st. So if you have a special interest in Vietnam, you can come and see the wall, and you can also go to things from the music of that era to the history of that era to the biology of that era, and done by our faculty. And so if you'd like more information, as Coe has said earlier, you're always welcome at Mount Mercy. Our library is open to the public, as are most of our buildings, and most of our events are both open to the public and free. The last thing that I want to tell you, because you are neighborhood ambassadors, and we know that that's really important, but Mount Mercy started a program last year that I think you ought to know about, called the Catherine McCauley Scholars Program. And we decided last year that students whose parents make less than $45,000 are able to enter this program if they are residents of the state of Iowa, and they can come to Mount Mercy for tuition free. They must live on campus, but the ability for them to go to school, their tuition is paid for. This year we will have 42 students in the Catherine McCauley Scholarship. We started it last year with 20 students and doubled the numbers this year. We believe that that program will change the trajectory of students' lives, and the most likely neighborhoods with their students are that coming to Mount Mercy for Catherine McCauley Scholarship is Wellington Heights. I didn't know that until a couple of days ago, but we have a number of students who come from very close by, and we want to encourage you. The woman who runs our program is bilingual Spanish-English and has a doctorate in English, so is a writing specialist. And we found that students come to that program, all low income, of course, but from various academic backgrounds. Some the most able, and some who have difficulty. And so the group of students ranges, it's very wide-ranging and a really wonderful program. So if you know students who are struggling, think about going to school because they think they cannot afford it, and would choose to want to come to a Catholic institution or a Mercy institution, we would welcome it. And you can call my office directly, or you can call Mount Mercy and ask about the Catherine McCauley Scholarship Program. Yes?
I think that's a wonderful idea. But you said the students do have to live on campus.
They have to live on
So,
campus.
but the scholarship pays tuition, pays for housing.
It does not pay for room and board. Most students end up having to borrow for that. But yeah, what we've found is that students who do not live on campus are very often put back into a lot of things that make for a less beneficial college experience. Not always, but very often. And so if they can live on campus, particularly if they're close by, that actually is the best of both worlds. We do have some help for books and so forth, but we would be very happy to have more students. And if you'd like a poster that is either in Spanish or English that would describe the program, put it up in your workplace or at your church, we'd be most happy to give that to you.
I think that's absolutely wonderful.
It's the mission of the Sisters of Mercy, and we've tried to take that seriously and actually make it into something that's beneficial. We don't just want those students to come, we want them to come and graduate and become leaders. And I think what we need more than anything is for people to come to see Cedar Rapids as their home, be educated, and come back and be leaders. So that's really our aim. Any questions for Rob or I? We love being nearby. Cedar Rapids is a wonderful place, and of course, you've done so many great things in Wellington Heights. We just would like to get back.
We'd like the board, when we get something to hang up in the churches.
You can actually, I'm going to leave my card here, and you can just send me an email, and I'll get right on it.
And then I had a question too about, I'm
both Coe and Mount Mercy are in a similar situation in that we have really small, indoor facilities that are really only big enough for intramurals and the varsity, competition. And Coe is the privilege of being able to build some more indoor facilities. We aren't quite at that point for indoor facilities.
Maybe it's something the neighborhoods need to think about addressing.
Check, Jane. Or the line.
I always bike down to Ellis.
Oh, I-
That's where I always want to play ball. I just bike down to Ellis. There's like you can take drinks and stuff down there.
Basketball.
That's,
Yeah.
They have asphalt set up there, like that.
And they have a tennis racket that, or
Just a
tennis
little
court
bit
that's open
west
because
of
McKinley
the
loves
line.
their St. Gary's and stuff.
It's behind the old Hubbard Ice Building.
And last month, St. Paul's had talked about their expansion, which included an indoor recreation facility in the corner of 3rd Avenue and 14th Street.
Well, about 10 or 12 years ago, midnight basketball was really popular. And we had some courts, or at least a few nets hung up in our area, but they all have disappeared. And it strikes me that that's also a good way to keep people who may be bored busy.
Mount Mercy and Coe, they're probably not playing at midnight, so probably can accommodate that. That's been a few times. Is there anything else that would be?
Is your website got current events on it?
It does.
Post?
It does. The Vietnam series has not been finalized yet, so that is not yet up on the website, but it should be up in the next week. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Great.
I'll leave my cards with your.
I just wanted to maybe comment on something that really stuck out to me that President McNally had mentioned about how you'd see people kind of hit the perimeter of Coe and walk all the way around the campus to continue walking wherever they're going, and how you're trying to change that that feeling of separation from Coe and the surrounding neighborhoods.
Well, I think Justin said it better than I could. I think that there has been a perception and perhaps a reality that it's kind of a co-bubble. And we talk about that on campus, and President McNally has challenged all of us on campus to really burst that bubble and do whatever we have to do to specifically reach out and invite people to campus and make them feel comfortable on campus. It would be nice to see even more people from the neighborhoods or from Cedar Rapids and general community come onto campus for the events we have. As we said earlier, most of those are at no charge. And so if you ever have that feeling or ever have that perception about Coe, please know that you're welcome, and invite your friends and neighbors as well, because we want you on campus.
Are you guys' tennis courts open to the public as well? Because I didn't think they were, but maybe.
Not right now, and that's something we're going to evaluate when we get our entire athletic complex renovations and additions done in 2 years. See if there's a possibility of opening those up. And as was discussed earlier, our problem is that we have so many varsity athletes. 40% of Coe students are varsity athletes. That's a very high percentage on the national scale. Coupled with that, students are participating in intramurals, and you get up to about 90 to 95% of all students. And to the comment earlier, we actually have had intramural games scheduled as late as midnight, because right now we only have one gym facility. And the tennis courts tend to be kind of tight as well. And so we are really hopeful, and we're committed to opening up those facilities more when we're able to expand them in the next couple of years.
Several years ago, Coe acquired houses in the Mountain View area and demolished a considerable number of them, and those lots have stood vacant for 7, 8, 9 years maybe. And wonder if there are thoughts about how those properties might be developed.
In the short term, we anticipate those just being green space as well as athletic fields, mostly for practice or intramural activities. I think longer term, and this is somewhat the case with Mount Mercy as well, but longer term compared to some of the schools that we are affiliated with, or sister colleges, we just don't have a lot of footprint compared to some of those schools. And so that space, and we purchased those houses in the Mount View neighborhood, will serve as the site for building projects that are not even anticipated at this point. So it's really for future expansion of the college. We have committed not to go past, I always have to stop here, not to go past 15th Street, which is the border between us and Polk Elementary School. And the area that we are acquiring properties in should be large enough to facilitate any growth of college development for the city. All right, thank you very much.